Chapter 12, text 2. Om Namo Bhagavati Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavati Vasudevaya.
All right, so you can go ahead and start 17.
Okay. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Jai Shri Prabhupada ki jai.
Text 17. 12 to 17. Chara Chara Guru Vishnu Isvaras Yaktihilat Manaha Dhamma Tranaya Sadhunam Jana Kama Panutaye Kama Panutaye. Translation. Lord Vishnu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the spiritual master of all moving and non-moving living beings, and the supreme soul of all, takes both to protect the principles of religion and to relieve recently devotees from the reactions of material world.
Where?
Okay. Text 18. Shambhala Grama Mukyasya Brahmanasya Mahatmanaha Bhavim Vishnu Sasa Kaiki Pradubhavisyati Kalkin Pradubhavisyati. Translation. Lord Kalki will appear in the home of the most eminent Brahman of Sambala village, the great soul Vishnu Yasya. Text 19 and 20. Asvam Asugam Aruhya Dhivatatam Jagatpati Asina Sadhu Damanam Astaisvaya Gunat Vitaha Vicharan Asmuna Kasuniyam Ayuna Pratima Durite Ipalinga Chadodasyam Katisuna Nihanisyati. Translation. Lord Kalki, the Lord of the universe, will mount his swift horse, Devadatta, and sword in hand, travel over the earth, exhibiting his 8 mystical appearances and 8 special qualities of Godhead. Displaying his equivalent effulgence and riding with great speed, he will kill by the million those thieves who have dared dress as kings. Purport. This verse describes the thrilling pastimes of Lord Kalki. Anyone would be attracted by sight of a powerful, beautiful man riding on a wonderful horse at lightning speed, chastising and devastating cruel demeanor people with the sword in hand. Of course, fanatical materialists may argue that this picture of Lord Kalki is a mere anthropomorphic creation of the human mind, a mythological deity created by people who need to believe in some superior being. But this argument is not logical, nor does it prove anything. It is merely the opinion of certain people. We need water, but that does not mean man creates water. We also need food, oxygen, and many other things that we do not create. Since our general experience is that our needs corresponds to available objects existing in the external world, that we appear to need a supreme Lord would tend to indicate that in fact there is a supreme Lord. In other words, nature endows us with a sense of need for things that actually exist and that are in fact necessary for our well-being. Similarly, we experience a need for God because we are in fact part of God and cannot live without Him. At the end of Kali Yuga, this same God will appear as the mighty Kalki avatar and beat the pollution out of the demons. Text 21. Atati Shambhavisyanti Manam Si Visadani Vai Vasudevangal Ragati Punya Ganhanila Spritsam Purajana Padanam Vai Hati Sri Arahi Akhila Das Yusu. Translation. After all the impostor kings have been killed, the residents of the cities, towns will feel the breeze carrying the most sacred fragrance of the sandalwood piece and other decorations of Lord Vasudeva, and their minds will thereby become transcendentally pure. Purport. Nothing can surpass the sublime experience of being dramatically rescued by a great hero who happens to be the Supreme Lord. The death of the demons at the end of Kali Yuga is accompanied by fragrant spiritual breeze, and thus the atmosphere becomes most enchanting.
All right, so you can hold that.
Okay.
All right, so text 22 is Techam Praja Vishargascha Stavishta Sambhavishyati Vasudeve Bhagavati Sattva Mortaurhidi Stite. When Lord Vasudeva, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, appears in the hearts in his transcendental form of goodness, the remaining citizens will abundantly repopulate the earth. Text 23. Yada vatirno bhagavan kalkir dharma patir hari kritam bhavishyati tada raja sutascha satviki. When the Supreme Lord has appeared on earth as Kalki, the maintainer of religion, Satyuga will begin, and human society will bring forth progeny in the mode of goodness. Text 24. Yada chandrascha suryascha tatatisha brihashpati eka rasa samishyanti bhavishyati tada kritam. When the moon, the sun, and Brihaspati are together in the constellation Karkata, and all three enter simultaneously into the lunar mansion Pushya, at that exact moment, the age of Satya or Krita will begin. 25. Ye tita vartamanaye bhavishyanti cha parthiva teta udeshata prokta Vamishya Soma Suryayo. Thus I have described all the kings, past, present, and future, who belong to the dynasties of the sun and moon. And 26. Arabhya Bhavato Janma Yavan Nanda Visechanam Etad Varsha Sahasram Tu Satam Panchada Sotaram. From your birth up to the coronation of King Nanda, 1150 years will pass. Although Shukadeva Goswami previously described approximately 1500 years of royal dynasties, it is understood that some overlapping occurred between kings. Therefore, the present chronological calculation should be taken as authoritative. And 27-28, Saptarshinam tu yau purvau drishyate uditau divi tayostu madhye nakshatram drishyate yat samam nishi tenaiva rishayo yuktas tishtanti abba satam rinam te tvadiye dvijakala adhuna chasrita magha. Translation. Of the seven stars forming the constellation of the seven sages, Pulaha and Kratu are the first to rise in the night sky. If a line running north and south were drawn through their midpoints, whichever of the lunar mansions this line passes through is said to be the ruling asterism of the constellation for that time. The seven sages will remain connected with that particular lunar mansion for 100 human years. Currently, during your lifetime, they are situated in the nakshatra called Magha. And text 29. Vishnur Bhagavato Bhano Krishna Kyosau Divam Gata Tada Vishat Kaliri Lokam Pape Yad Ramate Jana. The Supreme Lord Vishnu is brilliant like the sun and is known as Krishna. When he returned to the spiritual sky, Kali entered this world, and people then began to take pleasure in sinful activities. In text 30. Yavatsa pada padmabhyam sprishan achte ramapati tavat kalir vai prithivim parakrantam na chasakat. As long as Lord Sri Krishna, the husband of the goddess of fortune, touched the earth with his lotus feet, Kali was powerless to subdue this planet. Purport. Although even during the time of Lord Krishna's presence on earth, Kali had entered the earth to a slight extent through the impious activities of Duryodhana and his allies, Lord Krishna consistently suppressed Kali's influence. Kali could not flourish until Lord Krishna had left the earth. Alright, so you can continue from text 31 there. And that's you, Raghunatha. There's nobody else right now.
Okay. Alright, text 31. Yada Durasaya Sapta Maghasu Vicharanti Tada Pravitastu Kali Vada Sabda Satatmaka. Translation. When the constellations of the seven sages is cruising through the lunar mansion Magha, the age of Kali begins. It comprises 1200 years of the demigods. comprised term, text, no text. Okay, text 42. Yada maghabyu yasyanti Uvasadham mahasaya Tadanandat prabhitye prabhiti isha Kali hridhim gam visyati. Translation. When the great sage of the Saptasi constellation passed from Maga to Purvakshadha, Kali will have this full strength beginning from King Nanda and his dynasty. Text 43. Yasmin Krishno Divam Yatas Tasmin Eva Tadhahani Prapti Panam Kali Yugam Iti Prabhu Pura Vidha. Translation. Those who scientifically understand the past declare that on the very day that Lord Sri Krishna departed for the spiritual world, the influence of the age of Kali began upward. Although technically Kali was to begin during the time of Lord Krishna's presence on earth, this fallen age had to wait weekly for the departure of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. 54. Divyab Danam Sahasranti Chatuditu Punakritam Bhavisyati Tadaninam Mana Atma Pavaksakam Prakasakam. Translation. After the 1,000 celestial years of Kali Yuga, after the 1,000 celestial years of Kali Yuga, the Satya Yuga will manifest again at that time. At that time, the minds of all men will become self-indulgent. Text 55. Iti shamanavu vamshu yata sankhya yati bhuvi tataha vitsudra vipranam tasta yenya yugi. Translation. Thus I have described the royal dynasty of Manu as it is known on this earth. One can similarly study the history of the Vaishyas, Sudras and Brahmins living in the various ages. Purport. Just as the dynasty of kings includes exalted and insignificant, virtuous and wicked monarchs, varieties of human character are found in the intellectual, commercial, and urban orders of society. They are all over the place. 36. Ishtam namalinganam purushanam mahatmanam kata matra vasitanam tanam kriti ivastita bhuvi. Translation. These personalities who were great souls are now known only by their names. They exist only in accounts from the past, and only their fame remains on earth. Purport. Although one may consider oneself to be a great, powerful leader, he will ultimately end up as a meme in a long life of memes. In other words, it is useless to be attached to power and position in the material world.
Okay. You can hold there. I'm Ron Prabhupada, please accept my obeisances, glories to Prabhupada. And we're at text 37 of chapter 2. And you can start there.
Accept my humble obedience and all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Text 37. Devapi Shantanor Bhrata Marushchikshvaku Vamshaja Kalapa Grama Asate Mahayoga Balanvitau. Translation. Devapi, the brother of Maharaj Shantanu, and Maru, the descendant of Ishwaku, both possess great mystic strength and are living even now in the village of Kalapa. Text 38. Tav ihaita ihat sorry. Tav ihaitya kaler ante vasudevanoshitau varnashrama yuttam dharmam purvavat prathayishyata. Translation. At the end of the age of Kali, these two kings, having received instruction directly from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vasudev, will return to human society and re-establish the eternal religion of man, characterized by the divisions of Varna and Ashram, just as it was before. Purport. According to this and the previous verse, the two great kings who will re-establish human culture after the end of Kali Yuga have already descended to the earth, where they are patiently waiting to render their devotional service to Lord Vishnu. Text 39. Kritam Treta Dwaparam Cha Kalishcheti Chaturyukam Anena Krama Yogena Bhuvi Pranishu Vartati. Translation. The cycle of four ages, Satya, Treta, Dwapar and Kali, continues perpetually among living beings on this earth, repeating the same general sequence of events. Text 40. Rajan ete maya prokta nara devastatha pare bhumau mamatvam kritvante hitve mam nirdhanam gata. Translation. My dear King Parikshit, all these things I have described, as well as all other human beings, come to this earth and stake their claims, but ultimately they all must give up this world and meet their destruction. Text 41. Krimi vid bhasma samgyatnte raja namnopi yasya cha bhuta drut tat krite swartham kim veda nirase. Translation. Even though a person's body may now have the designation king in the end of its name, will be worms, stool, and or ashes. What can a person who injures other living beings for the sake of his body know about his own self-interest, since his activities are simply leading him to hell? Purport. After death, the body may be buried and eaten by worms, or it may be thrown in the street or forest to be eaten by animals who will pass out its remnants as stool, or it may be burned and converted into ashes. Therefore, one should not pave his way to hell by using the necessary body to injure the bodies of other living beings. In this verse, the word bhuta includes non-human life forms who are also creatures of God. One should give up all envious violence and learn to see God in everything by the process of Krishna consciousness. Text 42. Katham seyam akhanda bhu purvair me purushair dhrita mat putrasya cha putrasya mat purva vamshajasya va. Translation. The materialistic king thinks this unbounded earth was held by my predecessors and now is under my sovereignty. How can I arrange for it to remain in the hands of my sons, grandsons, and other descendants? This is purport. This is an example of Polish possessiveness. Text 43. Tejo ba annamayam kayam grihitvat mataya buddha mahim mamataya chobhao hitvante darshanam gata. Translation. Although the foolish accept the body made of earth, water, and fire as me and this earth as mine, in every case they have ultimately abandoned both their body and the earth and passed away into oblivion. Purport. Although the soul is eternal, our so-called family tradition and earthly fame will certainly pass into oblivion. Text 44. Ye ye bhu patayo rajan bhunjante bhuvam ojasa kalena te krittah sarve katha matrah katha sucha. Translation: My dear King Parikshit, all these kings who tried to enjoy the earth by their strength were reduced by the force of time to nothing more than historical accounts. Purport: The word Rajan or king is significant in this verse. Parikshit Maharaj was preparing to give up his body and go back home, back to Godhead, and Shukdev Goswami, his most merciful spiritual master, devastated any possible attachment that he might have to the position of king by showing the ultimate insignificance of such a position. By the causeless mercy of the spiritual master, one is prepared to go back home, back to Godhead. The spiritual master teaches one to relax one's strong grip on material illusion and leave the kingdom of Maya behind. Although Shukdev Goswami speaks very bluntly within this chapter about the so-called glory of the material world, he is exhibiting the causeless mercy of the spiritual master, who takes his surrendered disciple back to the kingdom of Godhead, Vaikuntha. Thus ends the purports of the humble servants of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada to the 12th canto, 2nd chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled The Symptoms of Kali Yuga. Chapter 3.
Alright, so you can stop now. Alright, so reading chapter 3, which is called the Bhumi Gita, text 1. Sri Sukha Uvacha Drispat Mani Jaye Vyagran Nipan Hashati Buriyam Ahoma Vijigishanti Mrityao Pidanka Nipa. Translation: Shukadev Goswami said, seeing the kings of this earth busy trying to conquer her, the earth itself laughed. She said, just see how these kings, who are actually playthings in the hands of death, are desiring to conquer me. In text 2. Kama esha narendranam moghasyad vidushamapi yena peno pame pinde yeti vishrambhita nripa. Great rulers of men, even those who are learned, meet frustration and failure because of material lust. Driven by lust, these kings place great hope and faith in the dead lump of flesh called the body, even though the material frame is as fleeting as bubbles of foam on water. In text 3 and 4. Purvam nirjitya sadvargam Jeshamo Rajamantrina Tata Sachiva Paurakta Karindram Asya Kantakan Evam Kramena Jeshama Prithvim Sagarame Kalam Iti Asa Badha Hridaya Na Pashyanti Antikain Kitam. Kings and politicians imagine, first I will conquer my senses and mind, then I will subdue my chief ministers and rid myself of the thorn pricks of my advisors, citizens, friends and relatives, as well as the keepers of my elephants. In this way I will gradually conquer the entire earth. Because the hearts of these leaders are bound by great expectations, they fail to see death waiting nearby. Purport: to satisfy their greed for power, determined politicians, dictators, and military leaders undergo severe austerities and sacrifice with much self-discipline. Then they lead the great nations into a struggle to control the sea, land, air, and space. Although the politicians and their followers will soon be dead, since birth and death are all inevitable in this world, they persist in their frantic struggle for ephemeral glory. In text 5, Samudra Varanam Jitva Mam Vishanti Abdhim Ojasa Kiyad Atma Jaya Syaitan Mukhiratma Jaye Phalam. After conquering all the land on my surface, these proud kings forcibly enter the ocean to conquer the sea itself. What is the use of their self-control, which is aimed at political exploitation? The actual goal of self-control is spiritual liberation. And text 6, Yam Vishrijaya Jaiva Manavas Tat Sutascha Kurudvaja Gata Yata Gatam Yudhe Tamam Jeshanti Abudhaya. O best of the Kurus, the earth continued as follows. Although in the past great men and their descendants have left me, departing from this world in the same helpless way they came to it, even today foolish men are trying to conquer me. And text 7, Mat krite pitriputranam bratranam chapi vigraha jayate hi asatam raje mamata badha chetasam. For the sake of conquering me, materialistic persons fight one another, fathers oppose their sons, and brothers fight one another, because their hearts are bound to possessing political power. Alright, so Raghunan, you can continue from text 8 there.
Okay. I will text 8. Mamai Vrayam Mahi Krishna Nati Mudhiti Vadhina Spradamana Mito Ganati Ananti Priyanti Matkriti Nipaha. Translation. Political leaders challenge one another. All this land is mine, it is not yours. You fool. Thus they attack one another and die. They attack one another and die. Ukraine and Russia. Purport. This was described with brilliant clarity the demanding political mentality that provokes innumerable conflicts in the world. For example, as we prepare this translation of Srimad Bhagavatam, British and Argentinian military forces are brutally fighting over the tiny Falkland Islands. The fact is that the Supreme Lord is the proprietor of all land. Of course, even in a God-conscious world, political boundaries exist, but in such a good God-conscious atmosphere, political tensions are greatly eased, and people of all lands welcome each other and respect each other's right to live in peace. Text 18. Create Opuravagrahi Nahuso Bharato Arjuna Mandhata Sagaru Ramaha Kihat Vango Tunandu Bharagu Tina Bidu Yasyatischa Shayate Shantanugaya Vigriatan Kuvalayas Vaha Kakustesto Naisandonika Hiranyakashipu Vito Ravano Luka Ravana Nimchi Shambaru Bhomo Hiranyakshu Tataraka Anita Bahavo Daitya Rajanoni Mahesvara Savi Sava Vidashura Savi Sava Jito Jita Mamatam mani aritanta Kridvoche Mityadaminha Krithavasisa Kalina atata akritatan kritahimu. Translation. Such kings as Prithu, Purava, Gandhi, Nahusha, Bharata, Katravira, Arjuna, Mandata, Sangara, Rama, Kritavanga, Dudanduna, Raghu, Trinabindu, Yayati, Saryati, Santanu, Gaya, Virigrata, Kuvaryasva, Kapustatha, Naisanda, Niga, Hiranyakasipu, Vita, Ravan, who made the whole world lament, Namuchi, Sambara, Brahma, Hiranyaksha, and Taraka, as well as many other demons and kings, who possess great powers of control over others, were all full of knowledge, heroic, all conquered and unconquerable, nevertheless, all conquering and unconquerable. Nevertheless, O Almighty Lord, although they live their lives intensively trying to possess me, these kings were subject to the passage of time, which reduced them all to mere historical accounts. None of them could permanently establish their rule. Purport. According to Srila Swami and as confirmed by Srila Vivanata Pitaka, the king Rama mentioned here is not the incarnation of Godhead Ramachandra. Prithu Maharaj is understood to be an incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead who completely exhibited the characteristic of an earthly king, claiming proprietorship over the entire earth. A simply king like Prithu Maharaj, however, controls the earth on behalf of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, whereas a demon such as Hiranyakasipu or Ravan tries to exploit the earth for his personal sense gratification. Nevertheless, both simply kings and demons must leave the earth. In this way, their political supremacy is ultimately neutralized by the force of time. Modern political leaders cannot even temporarily control the entire earth, nor are their opulences and intelligence unlimited, possessing hopelessly fragmented power, enjoying the minuscule lifespan and lacking deep existential intelligence. Modern leaders inevitable as symbols of frustration and misdirected ambition. Text 14. Kata inasti katita mahiyasam Vitaya yukishu yasa paris yusam Vijana vairagya vaipakshaya vibhu Vacho vibhute natu paramatyam. Translation. Sukadev Goswami said, O mighty Pariksit, I have related to you the narrations of all these great kings who spread their fame throughout the world and then departed. My real purpose was to teach transcendental knowledge and renunciation. Stories of kings lend powers and opulences to these narrations, but do not in themselves constitute the ultimate aspects of knowledge. Purport. Since all the narrations of Srimad Bhagavatam bring the reader to the perfection of transcendental knowledge, they all give supreme spiritual lessons for apparently dealing with kings or other mundane subject matters. In relation to Krishna, all ordinary topics become transcendental narration with the power to bring the reader to the perfection of life.
Okay. You can hold that. Varun Prabhu, you can start from text 15.
Text 15. Tutamah shloka gunanuvadha sangiyate bhikshanam amangalagina tam eva nityam shruyad abhikshanam krishne malam bhaktim abhisamana. Translation: the person who desires pure devotional service to Lord Krishna should hear the narrations of Lord Uttama Shloka, glorious qualities, the constant chanting of which destroys everything inauspicious. The devotee should engage in such listening in regular daily assemblies and should also continue his hearing throughout the day. Purport: since any topic related to Lord Krishna is auspicious and transcendental, the direct narration of Lord Krishna's own activities, political and non-political, is certainly the supreme subject matter for hearing. The word Nityam here indicates regulated cultivation of the topics of Lord Krishna, and Abhikshanam indicates constant remembrance of such regulated spiritual experiences. Text 16. Shri Rajo Vacha Yenopayena Bhagavan Kaler Doshan Kalau Jana Viddhamishyanti Upachitmas Chittams Tanme Bruhi Yatha Mune. Translation: King Parikshit said, "My lord, how can persons living in the age of Kali rid themselves of the cumulative contamination of this age? O great sage, please explain this to me." Purport: King Parikshit was a compassionate, saintly ruler. Thus, after hearing of the abominable qualities of the age of Kali, he naturally inquired as to how those born in this age can free themselves of its inherent contamination. Text 17. Yugani yuga dharmamscha dhanam pralaya kalpayo kalasyeshvara rupasya gatim vishnor mahatmana. Translation: please explain the different ages of universal history, the special qualities of each age, the duration of cosmic maintenance and destruction, and the movement of time, which is the direct representation of the Supreme Soul, the personality of Godhead, Lord Vishnu. Text 18. Shri Shuka Uvacha Krite Pravartate Dharmash Chatushpat Taj Janair Dhrita Satyam Daya Tapodanam Iti Pada Vibhor Nripa. Translation: Shukdev Goswami said, "My dear king, in the beginning during Satya Yuga, the age of truth, religion is present with all four of its legs intact and is carefully maintained by people of that age. These four legs of powerful religion are truthfulness, mercy, austerity, and charity." Purport: just as there are four seasons, there are four ages of the earth, each lasting hundreds of thousands of years. The first of these is Satya Yuga, when such good qualities as charity are prominent. Actual charity, here referred to as Dhanam, is to award fearlessness and freedom to others, not to give them some material means of temporary pleasure or relief. Any material charitable arrangement will inevitably be crushed by the onward march of time. Thus, only realization of one's eternal existence beyond the reach of time can make one fearless, and only freedom from material desire constitutes real freedom, for it enables one to escape the bondage of the laws of nature. Therefore, real charity is to help people revive their eternal spiritual consciousness. Religion is here referred to as Vibhu, the mighty, because universal religious principles are not different from the Supreme Lord Himself and ultimately lead one to His kingdom. The qualities mentioned here, truthfulness, mercy, austerity, and charity, are universal, non-sectarian aspects of pious life. In the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, the fourth leg of religion is listed as cleanliness. According to Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, this is an alternative definition of the word dhanam in the present context. Text 19. Shantushtha Karuna Maitra Shantadanta Stitikshava Atmarama Samadrisha Prayasha Shramana Jana. Translation. The people of Satyayuga are for the most part self-satisfied, merciful, friendly to all, peaceful, sober, and tolerant. They take their pleasure from within, see all things equally, and always endeavor diligently for spiritual perfection. Samadarshana, equal vision, is based on the perception of the Supreme Spirit behind all material varieties and within all living entities. त्रेतायं धर्मपदानं तुर्यं चो ह्यतेषानाय अधर्मपदायरनृता हिंसासान्तोषा विग्रहाय. Translation. In Treta Yuga, each leg of religion is gradually reduced by one quarter by the influence of the four pillars of irreligion: lying, violence, dissatisfaction, and quarrel. Purport. By falsity, truth is diminished. By violence, mercy is diminished. By dissatisfaction, austerity is diminished. And by quarrel, charity and cleanliness are diminished. Text 21. Text 21. Tada kriya tapo nishtha naiti himsa na lampata त्राय वर्गिका त्रायी वृद्धा वर्ण ब्रह्मोत्तरा नृपा. Translation. In the Treta age, people are devoted to ritual performances and severe austerities. They are not excessively violent or very lusty after sensual pleasure. Their interest lies primarily in religiosity, economic development, and regulated sense gratification, and they achieve prosperity by following the prescriptions of the three Vedas. Although in this age society evolves into four separate classes or kings, most people are Brahmins. Next 22. Tapah satyadaya danish ardham hiraswati dvapare himsatu anrita diveshaya dharmasya dharma lakshanaya. Translation. In Dwapar Yuga, in Dwapar Yuga, the religious qualities of austerity, truth, mercy, and charity are reduced to one half by their irreligious counterparts: dissatisfaction, untruth, violence, and enmity. Text 20. Yashasvino mahashila swadhyayadhyayanye rata adhyaya kutumbino hritha varnaha krishatra Vijotara. Translation. In the Dwapar age, people are interested in glory and are very noble. They devote themselves to the study of the Vedas, possess great opulence, support large families, and enjoy life with vigor. Of the four classes, the Kshatriyas and Brahmins are most numerous. Text 24. Kalau.
Alright, you can hold. Okay, so 824. Alright, so text 24 is Kalau tu dharma padanam tuyam so dharma hetubhi edhamanai chiyamano yante sopi vinakshyati. In the age of Kali, only 1/4 of the religious principles remain. That last remnant will continuously be decreased by the ever-increasing principles of irreligion and will finally be destroyed. In text 25. Tasmin lubdha durachara nirdaya sukshavarina durbhaga bhuri tarsascha shudra dasotara praja. In the Kali age, people tend to be greedy, ill-behaved, and merciless, and they fight one another without good reason. Unfortunate and obsessed with material desires, the people of Kali Yuga are almost all Shudras and barbarians. In this age, we can already observe that most people are laborers, clerks, fishermen, artisans, and other kinds of workers within the Shudra category. Enlightened devotees of God and noble political leaders are extremely scarce, and even independent businessmen and farmers are of vanishing breed, as huge business conglomerates increasingly convert them into subservient employees. Vast regions of the earth are already polluted by barbarians and semi-barbarous peoples, making the entire situation dangerous and bleak. The Krishna consciousness movement is empowered to rectify the current dismal state of affairs. It is the only hope for the ghastly age called Kali Yuga. Sattvam rajas tama iti drishyante purushe guna kala sanchodita stevai parivartana atmani. The material modes, goodness, passion, and ignorance, whose permutations are observed within a person's mind, are set into motion by the power of time. The four ages described in these verses are manifestations of the various modes of material nature. The age of truth, Satyug, manifests the predominance of material goodness. The Kali Yuga manifests the predominance of ignorance. According to Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, within each age, the other three ages occasionally manifest as sub-ages. Thus, even within Satyug, a demon in the mode of ignorance may appear, and within the age of Kali, the high religious principles may flourish for some time. As described in the Srimad Bhagavatam, the three modes of nature are present everywhere and in everything, but the predominant mode or combination of modes determines the general character of any material phenomena. In each age, therefore, the three modes are present in varying proportions. The particular age represented by goodness, Satya, passion, Treta, passion and ignorance, Dwapar, or ignorance, Kali, exists within each of the other ages as a sub-factor. And 27. Bhavanti yada sattve manobhudini dhyani cha tada krita yogam vidyaj jnane tapasi yad ruchi. When the mind, intelligence, and senses are solidly fixed in the mode of goodness, that time should be understood as Satyug, the age of truth. People then take pleasure in knowledge and austerity. The word krita means performed or executed. Thus, in the age of truth, all religious duties are duly performed, and people take pleasure in spiritual knowledge and austerity. Even in the Kali Yuga, those who are situated in the mode of goodness take pleasure in the cultivation of spiritual knowledge and the regulated performance of austerity. This sublime state of existence is possible for one who has conquered sex desire. Alright, so we can stop there tonight, and that's 12:3:27. So. Alright, so chapter 2, which is the previous chapter, described the symptoms of Kali Yuga. And here it said that when the Supreme Lord has appeared on earth as Kalki, the maintainer of religion, Satyug will begin, and human society will bring forth progeny in the mode of goodness. Then it says, as long as Sri Krishna, the husband of the goddess of fortune, touched the earth with his lotus feet, Kali was powerless to subdue this planet. And it says that Devapi, the brother of Maharaj Shantanu, and Maru, the descendant of Ikshvaku, both possess great mystic strength and are living even now in the village of Kalapa. At the end of the age of Kali, these two kings, having received instruction directly from the Supreme Personality of Godhead Vasudeva, will return to human society and re-establish the eternal religion of man, characterized by divisions of Varna and Ashram, just as it was before. So there is hope. Of course, it's taken quite a long time. So even though a person's body may now have the designation as king, in the end, its name will be worms, stool, or ashes. What can a person who injures other living beings for the sake of his body know about his own self-interest, since his activities are simply leading him to hell? So, again, this is the mood of the age of Kali, where people are going towards the hellish planets. My dear King Parikshit, all these kings who tried to enjoy the earth by their strength were reduced by the force of time to nothing more than historical accounts. So, like Prabhupada says, what it is, they end up to be just a list of names. There's nothing more than that. And then chapter 3 is called the Bhumi Gita, which talks about the four ages. But it starts with saying, after conquering all the land on thy surface, these proud kings forcibly enter into the ocean to conquer the sea itself. What is the use of their self-control, which is aimed at political exploitation? The actual goal of self-control is spiritual liberation. So the fact that the Supreme Lord is the proprietor of all land, of course, even in a God-conscious world, political boundaries exist. But in such a God-conscious atmosphere, political tensions are greatly eased, and people of all lands welcome each other and respect each other's right to live in peace. So, we understand that we are not the owners of this material world. Everyone is here on this planet, and they all have a place on this planet, just like we do. So we shouldn't think that, we are superior to them, and we deserve everything, and they don't deserve anything. We have to respect each other's right to live in peace. Persons who desire pure devotional service to Lord Krishna should hear the narrations of the Uttama Shloka glorious qualities, the constant chanting of which destroys everything inauspicious, and the devotee should engage in such listening in regular daily assemblies, which we are doing, which is good, and should also continue his hearing throughout the day. And then Maharaj Parikshit asks, my Lord, how can persons living in the age of Kali rid themselves of the cumulative contamination of this age? O great sage, please explain that to us. So then he begins to explain about the four ages. And he will be coming up with that. So we have, a little description of Satyug, Treta, Kali, and Dwapar. But it is said that in each age, all the other ages are manifested as sub-factors. So you might have a great sinful demon in the age of Satyug, and you might have a greatly religious person in the age of Kali. So it's not that Satyug is Satyug all the way through. There is some influence of Treta, Dwapar, and Kali there. And same thing with Kali Yuga. There is some influence of Satya, Treta, and Dwapar. Alright, so we can stop here tonight, and if anyone has any comments, questions, realizations on the subject matter. Alright, so if not, we can stop here. And Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srila Bhakti ki jai.